Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you had a great weekend. It's Monday. The weather over here has started to cool down a bit, so there might not be the fan in the background because I'm always under a fan. But now, of course, with the weather being nice like this, I do prefer the colder weather than the hot weather, of course. But yeah, I hope you're all doing well, had a great weekend, and that you are ready for the month ahead, the week ahead, and that you've planned sufficiently or efficiently, or any one of the efficiencies or whatever that you want, just to make sure that you win, or that you not win, that you at least win this week or be better than you were yesterday. Slowly, by increments. It's the only way it gets done. It's not only when you win after a 12 or a 20-week goal. It's not that specifically where you win. It just means that what you are doing, that's a good indicator that you're on the right path. Not necessarily. You have sometimes where people do very well in their first or second shows and then fizzle out because they can't control the come down. Sometimes that's a very big high for a lot of people doing very well, and then they can't really manage the mindset needed to kind of I don't want to say occupy that space, but to the mindset that you would need to be a champion or somebody that wins, or somebody that people would look up to. You need to be balanced. That's why I preach it to my athletes from the beginning up until that they become pro. They know the one thing I talk about a lot is balance, making sure that you don't overextend on one thing. There's certain things in our sport that you push the limits to, but you're never overextending. There's always within reason and with purpose that we do this. So the actual thing I want to talk to you guys about, now I'm rambling on 2 minutes, is the kind of finding a balance. So at least it was kind of in the right direction, finding a balance with your work and with your bodybuilding goals or your fitness goals. I sometimes think that I compartmentalize very well, is that when I'm busy with something, I occupy my mind there. Where in the past, where I was coaching a lot of athletes, I was hosting shows, I had a full-time job, I was competing myself as an athlete, I had sponsors that I needed to do marketing for, attend events for, so I was very busy, and it felt like I couldn't juggle all these things if I could not compartmentalize, if I couldn't put time out saying, this is my time that I need to work, that I need to focus on that. This is the time that I need for my bodybuilding. I need to focus on that. And here's the for the other things, if you really put your head down, it doesn't take you more than a couple of hours a week to really, to host a show or to coach your athletes effectively. If you plan and strategize and work with your athletes, and if they are professional, usually time management, it's you both of you would be kind of selfish with your time, in sense of being as effective as possible in as short time as possible. So that's kind of what you learn when you start working. If you've been in a place where you only had to study, or you were at school, you've kind of gotten used to having a lot of free time where you can do your bodybuilding things. Now you would need to think of yourself as this is the only food that I can eat every day. This is the time I need to eat it. Then you look at your work, and every now and again, you might have to compromise, you might have to sacrifice, but you make a plan to eat a little bit earlier or a little bit later, or you discuss it with your colleagues at work. Of course, my colleagues, I was told I'm not allowed to heat my broccoli or cook my broccoli, or heat my fish if I had hake. Not allowed to eat that in the office. So I would just get a prompt email. But that's the kind of thing that you have to consider, the people that you work with. You have to consider when you travel. So things like that all of a sudden play a very big role in how successful you are. and being effective at time management, and you managing your meals, your time, without having to cause stress, without having to cause stress to the people at your work or the people that you live with. You still just, this is your goal, something that you put out that you want to reach. So it's not supposed to be the other people's problem, right? So if you're doing your work, and of course now you want to do the sport, time is a thing that I think, and it is, or everybody, even everybody says I don't have time. People make time where they take breaks, right? And if you have to focus on when you take breaks, if there's half an hour or an hour that you're spending, that you're resting, be considerate of that time. Don't waste it. You know, if you're effective with your time, you'll even be effective in managing when you rest, for how long you rest, and what type of rest you do. Where if I'm, sometimes I have to in the past I would take naps, but now me being too busy, I don't get time to find naps anymore. So what I would do is short naps, half an hour naps in my lunches. Now I don't have things like that anymore. I would rather, let's say, and I didn't need it. In the past, it was something that I felt I needed a lot more than what I'm doing at the moment, where now I would just, while I'm working, I would just lie down. Instead of sitting up, I would just be lying down. And I'm not somebody that falls asleep very easily to start with, but kind of lying down and being on my phone, doing certain things, you know, which is more possible now than what it was in the past, is not ideal. I know everybody would say definitely you should relax. When you relax, switch off and all that. I do that when I go to bed at night, and I take a time before I go to bed to really take the time to switch off, you know, if I find it's necessary. To each their own, you know. I remember when I was kind of growing up, I used to always, when I go to bed, have the TV playing and on in the background. And that's something that I've just kind of gotten used to. I'm so used to something playing in the background when I'm sleeping, or when I fall asleep, that it helps me to fall asleep. If I'm in silence, then I just stay awake. So don't try to do things that are successful for other people. Don't force yourself into things that are successful for other people. Try them out, but give that and yourself the opportunity to be successful with whatever type of strategy or theory or whatever that you're busy with. Okay, so that was kind of more than I wanted to say about that. But finding a good balance between your work and the sport is very difficult. It's something that you will get better at, and at some stage it'll just be easygoing. The only time that it really becomes hard is if you are preparing for a show. Then it's really hectic, where you can't eat when you're going to lunches. You can't be at work events and eat whatever is there. There's no more rush with your coffee in the morning type of things that people are used to. So small sacrifices that you would have to make, small compromises that would help you reach success at the end. Okay, but that's just the idea for tonight. I hope you have a great rest of your week. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.